Hi everybody, good morning. My name is Chi and today I have a question for all of you. Have you ever in your life have a dream? I have a dream of becoming a journalist. I want to fly to Africa and write a report about that place. But why Africa? Why not any other place else on earth? Well, the person that I admire the most is Dr. Martin Luther King. He's a black lawyer who lived in South Africa. He's the person who stand up and fight for black people from all over the world. All his life he spent from day to day, he traveled from place to place to give out speeches about the problem with the perspective of a person who's a victim of it. From listening to his most famous speech, I Have a Dream, he inspired me and my dream of becoming a journalist formed. Now, poverty, crisis, children with their family who is starving because there's not enough food to eat and dying every day out of diseases, but there's no doctor or medicine to cure them. That is the stereotype of Africa that people have seemingly drawn in their mind. This is not wrong. However, it is not the whole picture of Africa. Africa is over twice the size of the US and several times the size of Western Europe. The continent is also very diverse, mostly tropical with mountain ranges, rivers, and it is also one of the richest continents in minerals. The interaction of human being and this tremendous environmental diversity made it at the heart of the controversy toward the world's oldest human being habitat. Africa is also a destination of rich cultural heritage, homes for unique, massive wildlife safari, and beautiful, mesmerizing sceneries. Now, can you please look at this picture? Ooh, what? Can you please look at this picture? If you take a quick glance at it, you would probably think that this is a town or village somewhere in Europe. But actually, this town lies beneath South Africa with very nice weather. And how about this? This valley is nowhere near the Death Valley the Death Valley in California, the United States, but it is located in Angola, and its name is called the Valley of the Moon. Now, Africa is also a land of pioneers and inventors that little did we know about. I'm going to tell you a story about an inventor in Africa. He's very young, but he had done some great things to his country. His name is Kelvin Doe, or also known as DJ Focus. And he lived in Sierra Leone. Living in a country with a lack of power is very difficult. But Kelvin was determined to make his country a better place. Since he couldn't afford to buy materials, Kelvin collected broken electronic parts from the trash, and then he taught himself how to engineer devices. You see, if ideas like this were widespread on social media, then maybe more people would like to take an interest in Africa and they would like to come to that place. And I know that that will help the economy an enormous bit. Moreover, talented people like Kelvin can have a lot more opportunities to show their talent to the world and shine. However, for thousands of years, the world had viewed Africa as central of world crisis. And let me tell you something, the world right now is just like the bus situation back then, when Dr. King was still living. That was the time when black people had to sit at the back of the bus and white people can sit in front. By placing Africa in a uniquely disadvantaged position and portraying them as weak and disastrous area on media, we're placing them at the back seat of the bus and not giving them equal rights for so many more opportunities. Africa does not need any of the countries in the world to feel sorry for them or send them charities or donations. And if some of those countries are European countries, then they would like to remind themselves of how many years they had invaded and exploit resources from Africa. Countries in Africa does not need that, but all they need is for us to treat them with an equal status as they would treat any other independent country around the world. Speaking of it, it reminded me of our beloved country, Vietnam. We're not the type of country that had no beautiful scenery, no talent, or no culture. But when I interviewed some foreigners, they still asked me the question, has your country just been out of war? We meet Africa at this point. Being misinterpretation for many years, we are still both struggling to prove ourselves to the world. Media coverage for now had been so biased in the way of reflecting news, of prioritizing one thing above the other and choosing one story to speak for the rest. For example, everything from Europe sounds so fancy, but everything from Africa sounds pretty much negative. And I love the idea that Dr. King is fighting for Black people in a very peaceful way by only using his thoughtful words and heartfelt words to touch the crowd. And since I am here today with my words to speak in front of the audiences, I hope that I can change the mind of all the audiences on how you will react to a piece of news, how you will look at it with different perspectives, and how you will spread the news on social media. Thanks to the development of social media today, everyone can be a journalist with the words they share with public. So that's why you must be really careful with your words. I know that I have a lot to do before I could become a real journalist and follow my dream. And sometimes telling the truth can be very difficult, but as long as I follow my dream, I will always stand for justice and tell everyone the truth. Through my reports, I will make people change their mind about Africa and developing countries in the world like Vietnam.